In this video we're going to talk about how to drive on motorways, and you'll get to see how I basically drive, what my thought process is and things like that. Now, motorways aren't as scary as a lot of people think. It's important to remember they are actually the safest roads we have. Only around 4% of all accidents or incidents that happen in the UK happen on motorways. Now, you'll see I've got cameras positioned on both the wing mirrors, the rear view, and obviously the front camera as well. I'm not going to include a rear camera on this occasion because the rear view camera is doing that job. Now, as I'm adjoining the motorway, rule number one, build your speed up. Okay, we do not want to be joining slowly. Now, the car in front, unfortunately, is going very slowly and dangerously slow. Sorry. So I need to move across in good time. I've got the truck and I'm just going to lean forward here. By doing that, it just allows me to open up my peripheral vision. You can see I'm overtaking them quite easily, and I'm only doing 55 at that point. Now, when I'm judging how to move across or not, I'm judging it solely on my rear view, really. So if I can see the person that I'm moving in front of in the rear view mirror, it is safe for me to move. So for instance, at this occasion I want to overtake, so I'm checking my mirrors. That Mercedes is in lane 2, is in my rear view. I'm just going to lean forward just to open up my peripheral vision because I know there's a van in lane 3, and then I can move. I can see the traffic starting to slow ahead, so again I'm checking my rear view, and then when I see that truck that I've overtaken in my rear view mirror, like there in its entirety, it's then safe to move across. And I'll keep checking that left mirror solely because I need to make sure that somebody in lane 1 doesn't try to move into lane 2 when I'm moving into it. So you can see it's just those quick little scans, just gaining that information. We don't want to be constantly staring because we take our eyes off the road for far too long. Again, little updates to the rear view mirror just so we know what's going on. I know I'm being overtaken by this white van, but I do want to come off at this next junction, and I am going to be turning right, so I'm going to stay in this lane. Again, I've got the Mercedes in lane 3 at the moment. There's no one else in lane 1, so if I do need to move across, obviously catering for that black car on my left, I can brake and move across. Now that white car's overtaken and the black car is still visible in the rear view until here, so now I have to basically stay put. I can't change lane in an emergency, but now I can. And it's important again that we keep this update going of our rear view mirror, because we never know when something weird might happen. The car in front might decide to slam on the brakes. It might have a puncture. There might be a massive pothole that I need to avoid, or even a sinkhole. You never know. And it's catering for those weird and wonderful things, which is going to keep you safe. So as we're coming off here, I'm going to be following the sign for the A1M, so I do need to stay in this lane. And I'm going to cater for, again, any possibilities. So where that broken down vehicle was, I needed to move that a little bit more to the right hand side to give them that extra space, just in case they decided to make a lane change. Now, I know the traffic light's red. Again, I don't want to get to that traffic light when it's red. I want to try to get there when it goes to green. So I'm using that additional brake. And it's also important to remember that your brakes are going to be chilled, so they're not as effective at lower temperatures because I've not used them for so long. So when you do initially start to brake for the first time after doing high speed, use your brakes a little bit earlier and a little bit firmer, just to cater for that chill, which basically means they're not going to work as well. Again, just updating the left mirror every now and then, making sure it's definitely safe. I can move across here because I'm following the signs for the A1M. And again, moving across. Now I've got the green traffic light ahead, and I can see both this lane and lane 2 are both for the direction I want to go. Now I've got the slow truck there, so I'm going to overtake. There's no point me staying in this lane and slowing down. I might as well keep my speed in the car. Now, as we come off at this junction, again, we need to be thinking about building up our speed. So my foot is all the way down. If you're using hand controls, obviously put it as hard as you possibly can here. Now I've got the van and I'm already leaning forward and looking into that mirror. Just taken off a bit of speed here because I knew I wasn't going to get there at the same time as the van, but then I'm going to move across. As soon as I see the van in the rear view mirror, I can then move back in, and again, little left shoulder check here just in case somebody's doing something that they shouldn't do by cutting over that hatch marking. Now I'm at 70 miles an hour. I'm going to activate my cruise control. By doing cruise control, I now can come off the accelerator and the car will maintain its own speed. By doing that, I'm running more economically. I know I've got the truck ahead and trucks can only do 60 miles an hour on this road, so I know I'm going to be overtaking. The indicator there is more for just basically the truck's knowledge, just to basically tell them, look, I'm moving across. Obviously this motorway's only got 2 lanes, so it's not as hectic. This is the A1M, because it's got the M category at the end of the name, it does make it a motorway. So remember, if you are learning to drive, you must be with a fully qualified driving instructor, so a green badge, and they must have dual controls. You cannot go on this road with family members or friends, trainee driving instructors or anything without a dual control, full stop. So I know I'm getting overtaken by that car, the sort of S or the family car. So I know I can't make a lane change at this moment in time. I'm gonna turn off my cruise control there. That just allows that car to overtake a little bit easier. I know I've got this car coming up on the right hand side as well, which is going a little bit faster than they should be. I'm not gonna move across for the time being. I'm gonna allow them to move. I've then got the BMW, and again they're coming up a bit faster than they should be, so I'm just going to stay put. I've reduced my speed down slightly to 66 at this moment. I'm now coming off the gas completely, allowing that car to overtake, allowing that car to form a decent distance in front before I then move across. I'm already off the accelerator as well. Now you can see on this road we have got a lorry in this lane. Why? Because there are only 2 lanes. Remember, if there are more than 2 lanes, lorries are not allowed in the furthest most right lane, but because of the situation where they can't overtake in any other way, they will move across. So allow them to do so, hold back, don't try to accelerate, because they will just drift across the front of your car. They don't really care, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, you're a stone compared to them. You see their indicator, let them move. And again, just keeping the distance, giving ourselves those updates on that rear view mirror. I know I've got the car nice and far behind, so I haven't got to worry about somebody tailgating at the moment. Whereas the cars in front, you can see they are really grouping up. I don't want to be anywhere near that. It's just not worth the risk. So I'm going to hold my distance. What I would advise is, obviously normally we have a 2-second gap between us and the car in front, but because they're so grouped up, cater for their stupidity. So you will see when I go past the next fixed point, we'll count it out, and it's probably going to be about a 4-second gap this time. So after the next cat's eye, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now the car behind has decided to bunch up as well. I can't do anything else. I want to overtake. By me going into the left lane at this moment will then just open the floodgates for all those people to overtake me, and then I'm going to be stuck doing only 50 miles an hour on the motorway. BMW's now moved in. There's no point massively accelerating, because again we can see that they're all bunching up ahead. The car behind is keeping a bit more of an appropriate gap now. Truck on my left hand side still. Truck's now moving in, so we're expecting these guys to now accelerate. We now start to push the extra acceleration in. Again, just keeping the updates on the rear view. Getting up to 17 miles an hour. Now this time I'm going to activate basically active cruise control, radar assisted cruise control. What that basically means is it locks onto the car in front. So again, I've come off the accelerator now, and the car will basically just acknowledge what's going on in front. Now I do want to move across, but I've got that merging lane, so I'm not going to merge yet. I'm just going to lean forward again, make sure it's definitely safe, keep updating as I go, keeping an eye on this car in lane 1. I know there's nothing overtaken in lane 3, so if they decide to move into lane 2, I know I can move into lane 3 safely. Again, I'm waiting to see that vehicle in the rear view mirror before I then move across. Little updates on that left mirror, just literally as a backup. You know, you want to make sure that you're definitely safe. Now this car's overtaking in lane 3, there's nothing in lane 2 at this moment, so again I can move if I need to. Another one overtaking in lane 3, the silver car. Now I've got the car approaching in lane 2, I can't see him in the rear view, so that wouldn't be safe. Now I am a bit of a car geek, so I will say like Ford Fiesta in this case, this red car, but if you're not sure about cars, you can say it by the colour, you could say it by the headline design, but just having that knowledge is really important. Now I'm coming off at this junction, so I've done my indicator. At the latest you should do it here at the 100-yard marker, and then I'm off. So hopefully that video has helped you understand my thought process and what I do when I'm learning to drive, when I'm driving on motorways. It's all about knowledge, and knowledge is power, as they say. The more you know, the safer you will be as a result. I wish you many happy, safe miles. Remember, don't be afraid of motorways. They are brilliant road networks. They make life a lot easier and more economical. And remember, just because the speed limit is 70 doesn't mean you have to be doing 70. Drive at a speed that you feel is appropriate, but not too slow like that car before at the beginning of the clip. I would advise the slowest you should really ever go on a motorway, ideally 55 miles per hour. Anything slower than that is a bit high risk. Make sure that your tyres are pumped up appropriately, and if you're going to do a very long journey on a motorway, I would also advise that you actually put a little bit more PSI into your tyres, normally an extra 2 PSI. By doing that, your car will run a little bit more economically. Make sure you've got plenty of screen wash and plenty of petrol. Remember, it is illegal to break down on a motorway because of a lack of fuel, so fill up before you get on. All the best.